one thing I've never done, and I've been accused of a lot of things this week. I don't hide behind an alt and like promote myself and say, "Oh my God, you should go check out a nice podcast, Stupid," and use a fake name to do that or buy views or anything like that. Like that's not how I roll. That's not the game that I'm playing. But these other people, they do that. That's how they do that because they have to win at all costs, and they have no qualms about faking it to get there and promoting themselves in unscrupulous, I would say, ways. Maybe they don't feel it's unscrupulous. Porcelain got exposed. Carl's been exposed. They all do. It's gay shit that they do. But yeah, you don't have to do that. You don't have to hide behind alts. If you're 17 people, are you really anyone? Exactly. I have multiple personality disorder. Okay, there you go, Final Blob. So yeah, so there's that. Dan, was Porcelain one of the 60 people sued? That's a good question. I don't know if I'm going to pull it up today, but I could pull it up on a future show. I don't have it prepped to go. But yeah, there were 60 John Does, some of which might have been 2 John Does. Like there was somewhere because he basically did the John Doe thing by different comments. And some of them, I know people are like, "Oh, Dan, you sure it was innocuous?" If you read it, it's innocuous. Some of it's like, I read his book and it fucking sucks, 1 star, and he called that defamation. And that was a John Doe that he wanted to sue for $100,000. There's a lot of people that haven't done their fucking homework. Is part of why I'm doing this show this morning, because I do want to clear the air a little bit, because I'm not going to just sit back. Like I can laugh about it. I'm not like upset or I'm nervous. Oh my God, Dan's nervous. That's the big headline that I saw at Hackamania. Dan's nervous. We exposed his secret life. No, I did this pretty much in the open, and it's been known for a very long time. If you go on Kiwi Farms, Rowan A forums, they know all about the silly stuff that I did. And 90% of it's silly. And then the stuff that isn't silly was just dumb, but nothing illegal. There was no swatting. There was no stalking. There was no real world, like accosting somebody. I didn't ruin anyone's life. This motherfucker did just as many bad things to me and others as was done to him. So, and then the swatting, there's a lot of theories about the swatting, guys. So do your homework. Do your homework. Let me just throw something out. I'm just one thing about swatting. Since the swatting was brought up, and some people, Lucy Tightbox specifically, in Ava, were sort of intimating that I might have had something to do with swatting someone. So let me just tell you a little bit about swatting of what I know from this case, because yes, I do know about this case because I was involved with it. No one that I ever saw that will be considered a troll ever supported swatting. There was nobody to go, "Hey, you got swatted again." Yeah. And there was none of that. People were like, "Oh my God, this fucking," it makes anyone that just like made fun of this guy online look bad, because then you look like you're a fucking criminal. So nobody was rooting for swatting. It was universally decried or, not supported by anyone, myself included. I've never "Oh, wow, it's great he got swatted." Never, ever said that. And show me one place where I ever was like, "Yeah, it's funny that he got swatted." I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was awful. I felt bad for him. It made him very sympathetic. So to paint me as someone that had anything to fucking do with swatting someone is fucking insane. So that's number one. The other thing is, Mr. Tomlinson, the theory that has been floated by more than one person is Mr. Tomlinson is a bit of a crisis actor. It's a little bit of a someone who is wants attention and wants fame. The swatting that happened, and it was, like I said, 40 plus times where police or law enforcement or whatever came to his house. There was a person a young kid that was doing swatting for hire online that got arrested, and there was a whole big other thing, and I won't get into it. This guy named Tor Swats. But here's the weird connection with the swatting of Patrick Tomlinson that has not been talked about by any of these fucking Sherlock Holmeses that think they have it all figured out 5 years later after all this happened and just are just finding out about it now. Congratulations, welcome to the internet. You're just found out a story from 5 years ago. Tomlinson has a Airbnb in his house. He has a duplex. He has one half of the house, the other half he rents out as an Airbnb. He has you can look and people found his Airbnb. Once again, that you could talk about the scruples of that, but they found out his Airbnb. People were looking at what the schedule was on that. Over a year and a half or 2 year period, he got swatted 40 plus times. And also during that time, he had 200 plus days of people staying in his Airbnb. So do the math. So and 200 might even be a conservative estimate. Let's say half of that time somebody was staying in the Airbnb. Not once of all of the 40 plus times that the police came was someone in the Airbnb or someone reported that they were in the Airbnb when the police showed up. So how convenient is it? How coincidental is it that all of these swattings happened in the exact moment when no one was staying in his Airbnb on the other side of the house, the duplex? Which leads a reasonable person to think, wow, what's the connection there? How would it work? You think that at least one time someone staying in the Airbnb would be there when the police showed up for one of these swattings. So what's the deal? It's almost like the person who was doing the swatting was purposely scheduling them for times when people weren't in the Airbnb. So do the fucking math. There's a little rabbit hole to go down, Lucy type box. If you really want to get to the truth of the matter of a story, as opposed to just pinning it on someone you don't like and just saying, yeah, Dan's a fucking swatter. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, great. Go ahead. And so you're not the first person to do that. Just because I made fun of somebody on Twitter doesn't mean I'm a fucking criminal. Just because you don't like me because I make fun of your fucking ugly ass tattoos and your fucking tits hanging out on every stream because you have tits in place of a personality, and you got a little butthurt. You got a little in your feels about that because I made fun of you going on the road with Carl when his wife's not around, made you seem like a trollop. You've been divorced twice, Kaylee. So that's a you problem. That's not a they problem. That's a you problem. Maybe don't fucking tat yourself up like a street whore, sweetie. So you want to pin me as some criminal? Do the fucking homework. There's a good story here, Kaylee. Keep digging. You're really good. You're one of the best paralegals. That law firm really must love having you as a paralegal because you don't take any gruff. You don't take no for an answer. Keep digging. Get to the heart of the matter of the real story. And it might be interesting. Maybe you might even crack the case because not anyone has totally cracked the case yet. Or, I don't know, if you want to accuse me of something, reach out to me and ask me for my opinion. Ask me for my comment before you just go on stage and just spout fucking bullshit about me. So that's why I felt like I had to clear the air a little bit. Never fucking swatted someone. Come on. Let's be honest. I wouldn't even know. First of all, I wouldn't know how to do it. I'd get caught if I did it. I wouldn't want to do it. It's fucking the fun of trolling is doing it within the lines of not breaking a law. That's what's fun about like getting under someone's skin, sending a $2 super chat. That's why I call myself $2 Dan, because I can make you fucking lose your mind $2 at a time. Why the fuck would I do anything illegal? Sending a $2 super chat to break your heart is not illegal. It's fun. It's fun to watch you fucking crumble. I was watching Shmuel Buckman last night. Shmuel Buckman did 2 shows dedicated to me yesterday, crying about how bad of a person I am and how evil I am and how I'm going to dox the world. And he's just waiting for the moment when I dox him and try to ruin his life. It's like, oh, come on, play a fucking violin for me, Buckman. I don't care about you that much. But yeah, I'm the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. The Patrick Tomlinson lawsuit was funded because I didn't want to get into it because I didn't want to bore John the other night when I got accosted by Ava. You know who funded the Patrick Tomlinson lawsuit against the subreddit, against the people online making fun of him? I keep hearing, oh, a charity because they felt bad for him. It was um, and I want to make sure I get the right name of the SFWA, the Sci-Fi Writers of America. One of the creepiest fucking, I mean, they're worse than, and I hate to say it, the Catholic Church when it comes to cover-ups. One of the creepiest organizations that has convicted files amongst their ranks and people that have actually run the organization that have that. And that's not, you know, people like making up rumors or whatever. No, like they have legit offenders that have been in the leadership of the Science Fiction Writers Association. And they didn't like that these same people that were harassing Patrick Tomlinson, a published sci-fi author, were also harassing other people within their ranks. So they wanted to use this as a test balloon to try to fucking quell the people that were harassing the other science fiction writers that, oh, by the way, are fucking creeps as well. So you want to go down a rabbit hole? There's plenty of videos. There's the porcelain videos. There's the Cryptic Web Chronicle videos. There's other stuff from years ago. It's fair game to criticize my looks. I'm sorry. I'm not going to feel bad about making fun of how anybody looks because I get it more than anybody. People are taking 10-year-old pictures of me, photoshopping the eyes on them and saying, oh, look, Dan looks retarded. Yeah, of course I look retarded because you're photoshopping pictures of me when it's like, but the more you fight it, the more then Dan's in his feels about it. It's no, you went through my wife's Facebook and found pictures of me or whatever. It's like, okay, great. Got me. You got guilty as charged, right? You know, if goofy looking eyes is the worst thing you got on me, it's like, come on. But yeah, those are the realized. No, they're not. The most of the pictures that I've seen around, there was a picture on Reddit that had like 200 comments about my eyes, and it was like the most clearest Photoshop you ever saw in your life. I'll tell you if a picture's real or not. Like, I'm not like whatever. Yeah, like, but when it's like, come on, really? What are you gonna say? Oh, Dan's pissed. They're making fun of his eyes. Yeah, well, you photoshopped it, so okay, great. You know, what are you gonna do? There's this thing called Imager, Your Honor. The best thing was last night, Anthony Cumia. I had them. So and I'm just gonna take this off screen for 1 second. I had the most surreal moment last night. For the first time, probably ever, I watched almost the whole Shuli Network Uncle Rico show. I've never really. I would flip in every once in a while and just see what they were talking about. It never really interested me. A lot of the Stuttering John content, which is ironic. We could talk about Cumia. Cumia now. This is the funny thing. Anthony Cumia, the Anthony Cumia, not a fan of Dan, not a fan of me, is blaming me for a lot of things that have happened to his brother and people harassing him from back in the day. Because I guess I'm the only face now of the online troll. Dan represents everything about trolling. So anyone that's ever trolled you by an anonymous person, now I'm getting blamed for that. Dan, I am the great ringleader of online trolls. It's like I have this troll kingdom, and it's almost like if you've ever read anything about fungi and mushrooms and how they're all interconnected in the earth and they all talk to each other. And there's this weird thing about that. It's like I'm interconnected with all the online trolls, and I'm making life hard for them. So the surreal moment last night, Anthony Cumia was talking about yours truly, not in the nicest way. He kind of hates my guts, which is funny. But he was blaming me for, of all things, the harassment of his brother Joe Cumia, who, by the way, I adore Joe Cumia. I think Joe Cumia is fucking hilarious. I've even told Husey, if you ever get Joe Cumia on your show, I'd love to come on. Not to troll him. I've never. This is the thing. Like, not everybody that was on the subreddit was trying to get Joe Cumia gigs canceled, and not a lot of people didn't support that. I never tried to get anybody's gigs canceled or harass Joe Cumia. I think he's funny. He's a fucking funny old bastard. So, but Anthony was saying, this cocksucker, Dan, he got my brother's gigs canceled. He's a piece of shit. Fuck Dan. Fucking. And I was like sitting there. I'm like, well, first off, it's cool that somebody who you've listened to on radio since you were a teenager knows who you are and thinks you're a piece of shit, which is funny. I can't deny that. But then the fact that he's blaming me on all these like plots against his brother and stuff, I thought that was hilarious too. So yeah, I get painted with the brush of anyone that's ever done anything nefarious. I love that word, nefarious. Yours truly had some responsibility. The Cryptic Web Chronicles series. So if you do want to learn more about Mr. Patrick Tomlinson, there is a whole series of videos about Patrick. I wonder if there's a couple that feature me in here. Oh, the Platinum Hits Dan. This is funny. So people made video or songs about me and my wife that are pretty funny. So I won't play those, but if you're so inclined, you can go check those out. If you want to be better than Lucy Tightbox, you're going to want to go and you can get it on Spotify or it's on YouTube. This guy, Javier, very cool guy. He's a journalist. He does true crime podcasts. He actually did a deep dive on the Patrick Tomlinson versus the Reddit people, and it's called The Pests. It was from a year and a half or 2 years ago, maybe. He actually interviewed me. I am so this episode has my audio in it. So this is me on the record. You want to hear the story? Because this is really probably going to be the last time I talk about this stuff. If you have questions like a Lucy, you want to reach out to me in DM and ask me a question, I'm happy to do that. But I'm not going to relitigate the past, and I'm not going to sit here and just be berated by people like Ava and interrogated for shit. And when half of it is bullshit, half of it's lies. Dan, did you email this bar and say the guy had his cock out at the bar, his fucking cock out at the? No, I didn't email. Somebody with a fake email said they were me. Like, don't you understand that there's 1,000 people out there that are doing this, and of course they're impersonating other people. They're anonymous. It's just like these NPC boomer types that have no idea like what all this is. They think they know, but you have no idea. You have no idea the layers to this. And I'm one of thousands of people that were kind of involved in this. I just happen to be the one that is probably the most public about it because I'm not really that fucking embarrassed because I don't really fucking care. So I'm willing to tell what my side of the story is and try to keep people honest. This guy, Quasi, that person that made that comment, was the guy that was running the website, this ONA Forums website where people were talking about Patrick or whatever. And he was John Doe number one. So because there were 60 John Does, it's real, and most of them, almost all of them really being anonymous, Patrick and his lawyers went after the administrator of the site. The administrator of the site got a great lawyer, stayed anonymous through the whole thing, worked all through his lawyer, and very similar to I think what Carl and Shuley are doing, fought it with a slap thing, which basically means that if the lawsuit doesn't go through and you fight it enough and you go through all the and you end up winning, that you get your lawyer's fees back, which is the thing that everybody is, you bankrupted Patrick, you bankrupted. No, Patrick took a frivolous lawsuit for over 2 years and then didn't pay it and had interest. And then he ended up having to pay tens of thousands of dollars for this frivolous lawsuit. So This guy that you were just hearing from, credit to him, because he could have, they were trying to strong arm him into giving like email addresses and information about people for the other John Does. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And he fought it. So they never really got anyone's information. They never really got past the discovery phase. It went through many, many courts. And then after like a year and a half, he ended up getting, Patrick lost and had to pay the administrator of the site tens of thousands of dollars. This interview was at the very tail end of the lawsuit. So this was before Patrick had lost and was unwilling to pay Quasi at this point. So they were going through the legal system, and Patrick was facing a contempt of court hearing a month or two after this, which is the one that I attended in Milwaukee. So I actually went to the thing in Milwaukee about a month or two after this.
All of these people who post on the Opie and Anthony forum.
There's video, and I don't have it readily available right now, of a fat gentleman vandalizing his own motorcycle with, oh, by the way, erasable marker on one of those ring cams. And it's Patrick himself. It's clearly him doing it to himself. This motherfucker was false flagging the whole time and blaming it on cyber stalkers. There's a whole, this is Lucy Tightbox, Lucy Tight Tits, sweetie, honey. I know you think you're fucking Nancy Drew. Go down, do some fucking research. Go down the rabbit hole if you want to go down the rabbit hole. Get the fucking answers. Because you think you got to figure it out, but you have no idea. You're so wrong. So this is part of what we were brought to Javier's attention.
Are anonymous. All except for one. His name is Daniel Mullen, and he goes by the online alias Somerville Dan. Patrick Tomlinson says, and I quote, that Dan Mullen is among the most obsessed criminals. Unlike most of the pests, Dan is very much out in the open. He even hosts his own podcast where he devotes a copious amount of time to mocking Patrick Tomlinson. Now, let's be clear. Dan is not a spokesperson for the group. In fact, he himself has been banned from posting on the ONA forum. So I hopped on
they banned me.
A call to get his side of the story.
Yeah, so, I was a fan of the Opie and Anthony show back in the 1990s. Yeah, I was a member of the Reddit forum back when it was our Opie and Anthony forum. And really, it was like one of the funniest places on the internet. There's all these jokes and characters and funny little things that he says. It's like a game, really. If he had just, and he could still do this too, by the way, if he would just stop responding and stop feeding off of that negative energy, then we wouldn't be talking right now.
So that's an important thing to understand about this guy. Every comment or tweet or whatever made about him, including on the Reddit that weren't even directed to him, he had to come in and respond and correct the record and instigate every person. So for those of you that, if you ever get into a thing where you're dealing with trolls, the best course of action is don't fucking respond. Block and move on. And don't give it any attention. This motherfucker would not stop throwing fuel on the fire. Every time. In fact, he almost has an obsessive compulsive disorder that requires him to reply to every message. If you go on this guy's Twitter, you'll see half of his tweets are enjoy prison stalker or child. He has all these little phrases that he says. Go on Kiwi Farms, go on his Twitter. Like do the work, do the research, Lucy. Like actually understand who this fucking guy is. He's a fucking mental case. And once again, not condoning the trolling of the guy, but this guy is beyond what you could ever imagine. You think of some of these people, these lolcows. This guy is like the end boss of lolcows.
But he is, for whatever reason, and I'm not a psychologist, I don't want to play that game, but for whatever reason, he just can't let it go, and he keeps kicking the hornet's nest.
But you would admit, I've seen an overwhelming amount of folks hosting that.
So yeah, people texted him, people tweeted him. Now, after this, people were doing those other stupid pranks where like the Craigslist stuff, which once again, I was not involved in. That was way over the line. I'm not going to defend that. But texting, tweeting, kind of a gray area, to be honest.
I find this hysterical, except for the swatting.
I would say there are very few topics that these people on the forum agree on universally. I would say to a man, the condemnation of the swatting is probably the most universally held belief of anyone. I don't think you'll find.
I'm going to pause there. None of these people, as shitty as all these people were that were trolling this guy, nobody was endorsing swatting this guy. Not a person. I never saw in all my time there anyone that was like, yeah, you get swatted again. Awesome. You know, like celebrating it. People like, oh, fuck. Did you hear you got swatted? Because we knew, or I think collectively people knew, okay, that just, they're going to put it on us and, blame us for this shit. So nobody was fucking supporting that. So you really have to draw the line and understand of the legal versus illegal. Nobody was supporting anything illegal against this guy. Nobody was supporting accosting him or harassing him in life or getting, calling it, there was, I'm not gonna lie, there were some people that probably did cross the line, but nobody was trying to fucking swat the guy. I mean, that's fucking insane.
And maybe one or two people, and they would probably be, talked down to, that find it funny